Hey Farm Fam, it's Todd from Headwaters Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to get down with the business of putting together the rest of the chicken shelters that we started a couple weeks back. Now believe it or not, it is February 12th and it is a 50-degree day in Northeast Ohio. It's absolutely beautiful out. So this is one of those days that we definitely want to get out, take advantage of the good weather, and get some work done on those chicken tractors so we've got them ready in the spring when we get our first round of meat birds in. So I've got the garage opened up. I've got some tools out that we're going to need. We're going to make some slight adjustments to the build. We're going to modify it just a little bit, but we're going to see if we can get most of the framing and maybe some of the chicken wire mesh onto one of these chicken tractors. Let's go get to it. Now my son Jack and I did some work last week. We got these outside walls completed. These are 12 foot long and just about 24 inches high. These are going to be the outside walls, two of the outside walls that are going to run parallel to each other for the chicken tractor. The rest of the wood is all staged here inside the garage. As I mentioned in the last video we did about these, we are using Joe Salatin's Polyface Designs. We're actually building our way through the Broiler Shelter list. And today we are starting with step 5. Now in Joel's design and in the book, his shelters are 12 by 10. I want to be able to pull these into the garage and work on them. And so we are actually going to modify them down from 12 foot by 10 foot to making them 12 foot by 8 foot. That slight modification is going to allow me to get them in through the garage door here if I need to do any work on them in the future or if I need to store them. I said I plan for this to be our first of what will probably be many chicken tractors. But for our first batch of chickens that are coming this spring, we want to get this first one knocked out. So we're going to make some quick cuts to cut down some of the lumber to the dimensions that we need with that adjustment in mind, and we're going to get to the business of putting them together. Alright, on the bottom here, you've got two 2x4s that have been cut down to 2x2s. You're going to drill right through both of them and connect them together. I recommend pre-drilling your hole. Let's get that in there good and straight. That way you don't risk splitting either board when you drill that 3-inch deck screw through them. These are going to be the central supports on the short side of the coop. Good and secure. On the top side, you don't need to go nearly as deep, so we're using a 1 5/8 decking screw. I found, mostly through trial and error though, that pre-drilling the holes, at least when you're doing the 3-inch decking screws, save you a lot of headache. Okay, that's both ends tacked together. Now we're going to tack them up onto the main frame. The boy has arrived. All right, So we've got most of the frame up right now. Jack's going to help me put the last 3-inch deck screw into the bottom corner here. So go ahead and drill through that so we get it started. Go ahead and squeeze the trigger. Go ahead and squeeze the trigger. There you go. Take that through. All right, now work that back out. That pilot hole makes it easier to put in our deck screw. The problem I was having earlier was as we got down in there, we were stripping the heads of the screws out. By drilling that pilot hole first, that's in there good and secure now. And all 4 corners are done. Yay. So the next part that we're going to work on is some cross beams on this to make this a little more sturdy.
Kind of like those?
Yep, we're going to do exactly like we did on the long ones. We're going to run them on about 45-degree angles. Okay. They're going to go on the inside here, and that's going to add some more strength to the frame. After that, we should be just about ready to put on the crossbar that'll go over the center, and then we can wrap it in chicken wire. All right, for the next part, we are going to mount this 12-foot long cross member. So Jack, you can go down on that end. I'm going to have you lift it up. This one's a little bowed, but I'm going to attach this right here using a 1 5/8 decking screw. And that's going to be the center support. Braced. Now we'll work on the supports for the ends. All right, go ahead and drill that into there. Remember, get it set in there good. You have to squeeze the trigger slowly and push forward at the same time. There you go. Let it drill through. All right, good job.
Yay.
Now, we don't want to peak here, even though this sticks up and over. So we are going to use a handsaw. And what this is going to do is take that off right along the top of the cage. That should work through there. This way though, when we take it off like this, it won't be in the way when we put the mesh in on top. The chicken wire mesh. It's going to make the roof We're also going to use some corrugated metal so they have shelter from both sun and wind.
Okay.
There, let's see how that takes that off nice and smooth. And now, if you want to get 2 screws out of the box behind you, we can do the same with this board. So you're going to step over. Grab a screw. We'll start on this side since you're on this side. Do our first one. Okay, go that one. All right, I'm going to take this one, do it right here. Come with me. Roll that straight down here. Down, push down. probably even use a bigger one on there. Let's go around to the other side. This one is going to pull it across the middle. So go ahead and push down into that one. Like you did before, one hand on the back. There we go. Slowly squeeze. Drive. Alright. Now let's step into the middle here. This one's going to be a little trickier because we know this bow has a board has a bow in it. So we're going to pull that. Does that look pretty straight? Mm-hmm. Alright, so right in the middle there. Pressure on it straight up and down. Go ahead, keep turning it. Is that in there? It's in a little turn. All right. I think so. Let me see. See if I can squeeze these together. There. All right. So that straightened out the bow in that board. That's good and taut all around. Looks nice and square. All right. I think we're ready to move on to the next step. So let's go see what it says in the book, and we'll keep plugging away. I think for the next step, we're going to take two small pieces and put under here for extra support. So let's go double check. Come on in. So you are going to take your decking screw right there, drive it straight down through. These are going to help hold this in place. Put pressure on it down. Nice, up, straight up and down. There you go, straight up and down, put pressure on it. Go. Okay, stop. Try it now. There you go. Alright, go ahead and grab another one. Alright, push it down as you drill. Nice and straight. Keep going. There you go. Good. Get two more ready. All right. All right. Nice and steady. There you go. Good. Nice gentle pressure. Farther. Right about there. Same way, straight up and down. Nice uniform pressure, easy squeeze. All right, that's locked in place and good. All right. Okay, these ones up on this end. Make sure you don't tip that box over as you come over. I don't want to lose any screws in the driveway. Flat tires are not fun. Alright. Get that in there. Nice and straight. Okay, that's good. Alright, we're going to do this one. Nice and straight, even pressure. All right, so we've gone all the way around. We have tightened up all the cross braces. We've thrown a leg in the middle. We did our cross beam over the center to steady it, give it extra support. And then we did some cross lattice there too. So all of this is nice and tight and rigid. We're going to run a piece of wire underneath the bottom here just to provide some tension down the middle since we don't have a middle brace. We're going to run that wire in, tighten that up, and that should be just about it for the frame.
Okay.
What do you think, Jax?
This is fun.
Yeah?
I like
this
to learn to stuff in.
Yeah? It's like a big Lego set, isn't it?
Honestly, yes.
Awesome. All right, let's go get to the next piece. Gotta say, Joel's design for these chicken tractors is quite amazing. When I first started putting the sides together, I thought there was no way this is going to hold up. But as you add each brace and each cross brace, they all reinforce each other. If I remember right, Joel's inspiration for this was from rabbit hutches that they had earlier on, and they repurposed them for chickens. Had to make a couple slight modifications on the fly, just because the size that we're building these two are a little bit different than the sizes he's got spec'd out. But overall, it's come together quite nicely, and it really is quite sturdy. As you can see, the next step here is we're going to start wrapping what will be the front end of the chicken tractor here with 2-foot tall chicken wire. We'll staple that around, starting right here on this midsection, on this mid strut, come up to this front corner, wrap around. We're going to go all the way down around this corner and then bring it down to the center strut here. That'll be the front end. That'll be the end that's primarily going to be open. The back end will have more corrugated steel sheeting on it. That's going to provide shade and protection from wind and shelter. But you can see the initial frame is all put together. Had some fun working with Jack on this part of the build. And we're going to have this ready when our next batch of chickens arrives. They're scheduled to come, I believe it's the second week of April. These chickens, this is the laying flock. There's Greasy up in front, Matilda, Anna, Francine, Big Mama, Elsa, all the way down there by the barn. We've got Gus and Helen and Louise and 2 of our 3 roosters, Teddy Roosevelt and Luke, in the chicken run. So. All right, everybody, I'm back. Seem to have lost the light here. I was trying to get the chicken wire netting on the front half of the build and just ran out of time and daylight. So it's one thing in the winter, there's just never enough time, never enough daylight. But how many 50-degree days do you get in February? So it was a beautiful opportunity to get out, work on the chicken tractor build, work with Jackson a little bit. Got a beautiful tail end of the sunset going on behind me. I think you can see some of the stars up in the background too. I'll take you down real quick, take you on a walk around the chicken tractor. Hopefully we can see it sitting down there in the dark. You can see that the chicken wire mesh is on the front, but not completed. But overall, really happy with this build, happy with the way it's coming along. Wish I had more time, really want to get it done, but this is as far as we got today. Next parts are going to involve a trip to the store anyways. We've got to get some of that corrugated sheeting that's going to make the roof and the solid part of the shelter. Also got to figure out, because we're going to use ours in conjunction with a chicken fencing around it with some poultry netting, I got to figure out a way to put a door on there. I also want to put a hinged lid on the top, so when it comes time for processing the chickens, it's a lot easier for us to just reach in and pluck a bird out when we need it. So, but overall, good build. Hope you enjoyed watching me and my son do a little work today, and hope you're getting into some exciting stuff around your homesteads as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one, Farm Fam. Take care.